Welcome into Tapping Vegas, brought to you by Better and Green. Today we're breaking down UFC Fight Night, Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Special thank you to our friends over at DraftKings. Right now, if you bet $5, you can get up to $300 in free bonus bets if your bet hits. Use the link in our description. That way you guys can get access to that free money. Guys, Bobby is actually moving, so he's not going to be with me today. Hopefully we have Bobby back here soon. We're going to run through 5 of our plays that we picked for this week to win you guys some money. Last week hit a plus 900 Marab sub. We hit it in the third. Beautiful. We won almost all the bets too, so it was just a massive weekend for us last week. And we're going to go for it again this week. We got a couple plays that we really like, and we're going to start off with one that we broke down a while back. We're going to look at some of the lines that were set back then and how it's looking now. So let's talk about that fight. That is the one between Paul Craig and Ralpho Bolato. This is the odds from last time. It was minus 500 for Bolato, plus 380 for Craig. Now here we are, same guys, but it has changed slightly. Now it's plus or minus 410 for Bolato, so almost dropped off 90 there, and then plus 320 for Craig. So it looks like a little bit more money is probably coming in on Craig here. And if you guys want a full breakdown and to hear Bobby's side of this fight in particular, go back to the fight card that this was supposed to happen on initially. You can watch the full thing there. But me and Bobby are split on this one, and what basically it came down to is Bolato is just a lot bigger, and Paul Craig, we saw him get, I don't want to say dominate. Dominate is not the right word, but he got pieced up pretty good by Bo Nickel. Bo ended up not grappling with him at all. And then we see Bo Nickel come out the next fight after throwing down with Craig and then just getting absolutely destroyed by DeRitter. So now Craig has a guy in Bolato that I think is a much better striker than Bo Nickel, much more power. He's going to come out against Craig. It scares me too much. I can't step in front of this, although I like Craig, and he's one of those guys that doesn't matter how good you are. If this goes to the ground, he can submit you. Also, Bolato, if this fight is extended, the longer this fight goes, the lower his chances of winning are. Because Craig, I think he's going to have better stamina. He's going to have a better gas tank than Bolato does. I'm going to be on Bolato KO here. That brings it from minus 410 down to minus 150. And still, for a method, still being minus and all the way at minus 150, it's gross. But I really think that's the way to think about this fight. I think it's going to be a first round, if not early second round KO here for Bolato. Bobby is on Craig, and I don't hate that at all because I think this fight should be closer to like minus 250, minus 200 because, 2-1 odds. That makes sense more than 4-1 to me. But right now, 20% of the bets are on Craig, 34% of the money. So Bobby and the Sharps are both on Craig, which I agree with completely. You're getting him plus 380 money line too. So, if we'll come back to this fight later. Tipping my hat a little bit to where we're going for the haymaker, but I don't hate Craig in this one. Although I am on Bolato, I think Craig is actually a really smart pick this weekend. But once again, I just don't think it happens personally myself. But if you wanted to throw something on it at plus 380, I don't know what bet you're going to get this weekend that's going to be better than that one. Let's talk about the second fight. We have Cody Garbrandt versus Reno Barcelos. I'm always terrible with butchering these Brazilian guys' names, so I apologize there. Barcelos, we just saw him not too long ago. I believe it was this year. I believe it is the biggest underdog win of the year was Barcelos beating Peyton Talbot. And Peyton Talbot, he's an excellent striker, excellent fighter, one of the, I don't want to say hype, because hype's not the right word. Promising. He's one of the most promising young strikers in the division, I think. Cody Garbrandt, he's past his prime, and unfortunately that chin's just not holding up on him anymore. But then you look at, Barcelos is a lot older, though. And he's had a couple times and a couple losses that make you question it. But I don't see Garbrandt winning this fight. I really don't. And he could, but right now you're seeing on the screen, all the stats are in Barcelos' favor. Garbrandt, he's also been around for a long time. So it's not like Barcelos is 38 and Garbrandt's 28. Like, Garbrandt's 33. He's starting to get up there, too. He's definitely past his prime. There's just a couple factors that if the striking is even, then you have all of the wrestling and submission work of Barcelos. That is just on the other side of that. And I don't see how Garbrandt wins this. I think if Barcelos can take him down, maybe he gets another submission here. That's actually what Bobby is on, is Barcelos by sub. I'm just going to be on the Barcelos money line, but I really do think he wins. And I think striking-wise, I think he can hang in there with Garbrandt. I think a lot of Garbrandt's power is gone. But this is a really tough fight. The minus 198. And also we're seeing this too. The odds are starting to go in the direction I think they're supposed to go. It's starting to get closer to a 1.5 to 1 than a 2 to 1. It was minus 2 something. It's down to minus 198 now. Garbrandt's coming down. Looking at the money percentages here, looks like Garbrandt 52% of the bets, which is another little scary thing about this fight. 52% of the bets, but 68% of the money at the dog odds. So Vegas is hedging a little bit now with Barcelos bringing him down. 48% of the bets, 32% of the money. I just think Garbrandt's the name. Garbrandt's the name that they all know. And I also think people are thinking that since Barcelos beat Talbot, this is like a lot of the times you want to play a team after a high or a fighter after a high. And they're thinking like, oh, he's gonna take a big step back here. Like, okay, he beat Talbot, so now everybody's gonna be on Barcelos, but that's not the case. That's not the case. Only 48% of people, 32% of the money. So I do think Barcelos is the right side of the fight here. Me and Bobby both on Barcelos. Let's talk about this third fight. That is Edmund Shabbazian versus Andre Petroski. And then now here is the closest odds of the fights that we're going to talk about today. So Petroski he definitely has a grappling edge here, but especially after we talked to MMA Judge Analyzer, it's just scoring is so skewed towards the strikers that if Petroski, if he does take him down, how long is he able to hold him down? And he's not really much of a submission guy. So I think Shabbazian can get up, and Petroski fades through fights. I mean, he's just a jack dude, and we had talked about in previous episodes, the more muscles you have, the more oxygen it burns. Shabbazian, I really do think he's going to get this one done too. At the minus 180, I don't feel strong enough to go any certain direction. Bobby's going to do Shabbazian by decision. I think that's actually a pretty good idea. I think a decision is probably pretty close to a way that Shabbazian wins. But I think he's just going to be the more active striker, and he probably wins on points. Maybe he's able to get a KO there. Petroski has shown that he's not the most durable guy at times. But I think Shabbazian's strike is just going to be too much. Bobby agrees. And if we're looking at the people, Shabbazian 58% of the bets. So he's a public side. And 68% of the money, which especially in MMA, a lot of the times, almost all sharp money is always going to be on the underdog because they're just trying to play those numbers. But even in this almost 2-to-1 situation here, he's getting 16% of the sharp money at minus 180. So that's a pretty impressive number there. Petroski, 42% of the bets at 32% of the money. This is a very close fight, but me and Bobby and the public are all on Edmund Shabbazian here, and the sharps, all on Shabbazian. Let's talk about this fourth fight. We have another women's fight. We have Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick. We've had a lot of women's fights lately, but we've had a lot of bangers too. Like, they've all been pretty good. Really wish we would have got that Blanchfield and Macy Barber fight. Unfortunately, we didn't, but man, that would have been a good one to have too. Both these ladies, extremely talented. Me and Bobby love Miranda Maverick because we're Missouri people. She's a Missouri person. Both of them, I mean, Miranda Maverick's been, I would say, she's had a lot more recent success, but against lesser competition. And Namajunas has beaten just the best of the best. She's been a world champion, I believe, twice. And then when you're looking at the way they play, kind of. I've been doing too much football content lately, but the way they fight, Maverick's a lot more wrestling, takedown oriented. Namajunas has got that BJJ background. So if Maverick does use her strength and take this fight to the mat, I feel like that almost plays more into Namajunas' strengths. Because I think Namajunas can get Maverick in some compromised positions and make her tap. And then as far as Maverick goes, like I think the game plan best for her is striking. But then if you ask me who I thought the better striker was, I think it's probably Thug Rose. Probably Rose Namajunas. So we're seeing about 2-1 odds here on this fight also. You're looking at it from the betting percentage. 73% of bets are on Rose, 67% of the money. That just feels right. Rose just is going to be the more active striker, the more accurate striker in this fight. In this fight, I guess I really don't know what Miranda's avenue to victory would be. Because if it's not taking her to the ground, but it's not standing, it's going to have to be like a really boring stall wall. Like, hold her up against a cage and punch her. And I think that's really the only way she can do it. And maybe she can, because Maverick is one of the strongest women in that division, but I really do think Rose is too talented. She's fought such good competition and had success. Love Miranda Maverick, but I'm going to be on Rose Namajunas. I really want to say submission, but I also feel like that is a little bit too dangerous in this fight because it could definitely be a decision too. Definitely don't think Namajunas gets a knockout. So I will just go Namajunas by decision for the minus 238. Bobby is actually on the Maverick money line. So he's taking the dog here at the plus 195. Once again, I don't hate it. Maverick's very strong, and if she does hold her up against the wall, and if she does take her down and like stays behind Rose, she can have some success, but I think Rose is going to go to her back straight away. I really do. And just try to work for a submission from there. And then either Maverick gets to engage in it or they get stood up. So this is a really scary fight for Maverick, in my opinion. I'm on Rose. Bobby is on the Maverick money line. Let's talk about the fight of the night. That is between Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Kamaru's back, guys. I believe it's been like 2 years since Kamaru fought. Both these guys have a good wrestling background. Kamaru, one of the best that the division has ever seen. Buckley, one of the hottest names right now. I really wish we could see him against Ian Gary. I think that would be a great fight. But Buckley versus Usman. I'll tell you about what I'm thinking, and I think what everybody's thinking, and we'll get into it a little more. It's just Usman's been gone for too long. He has all that rust on him still. If he came back and had a fight before this fight, before Buckley, I would not feel as bad about it. But the fact that he's coming straight into Buckley, who is just has so much power and has been so active and is on, because right now Usman is trying to get back to like where he was, but now he's established and he's got all these other things going on. He's got his podcast. For Buckley, like this is his time right now to really rise up the rankings, and he knows like a loss is going to be very detrimental to him. So he is so hungry right now, trying to climb the rankings. He feels like he can be the champion of the division, and honestly, he has the skills that he could be the champion of this division one day. Also, St. Louis guy, shout out Joaquin Buckley. But Usman's been gone too long. He's been gone too long to come in against a guy like Buckley. He's past his prime. I mean, the dude's getting close to 40 now. It's a bad case scenario right here for Usman. And we're seeing 70% of the bets on Buckley, 63% of the money. It gives 30% for Usman of the bets, 37% of the money. It's not like there's a huge Vegas side here. And it feels like it's going to be Buckley. Buckley, you're seeing it right now, 5-0. And it's just been too long for Usman. And then he did fight. So like he fought Hamzat. He was fighting some really good competition before his hiatus. But it's just been too long. And Bobby agrees. He says Buckley by decision. I say by decision or KO, but probably like more like a TKO. I don't think he sleeps Usman, but at this point in their careers, Buckley's trending up, and Usman has stayed pretty high in the rankings, but being gone this long, you just tick down a little bit, tick down, tick down, tick down, tick down, and we might see like a couple more wins from Usman, kind of like what Jose Aldo's doing right now. Like, you're like, why did you come back? And like, you just keep losing these fights. It might be a tough little stretch for Usman if he's really trying to come back and make another run. I can see it going like very similar to Aldo and just having a couple losses when he comes right back. So we always give you guys a haymaker at the end of the week. These hit semi-frequently since we always give you guys these high odds. Last week was the plus 900 Marab sub. That one hit. I was going back. We gave you guys a plus 250 like 3 weeks ago, something like that. So these have been hitting with pretty good accuracy as of late. And this is the same one that we used, but it was a double from the episode we used back the last time we had the Paul Craig Bolato fight when it was supposed to happen. Haymaker this week, guys, is going to be the Paul Craig by submission. And I can't argue with that at all, because as this fight goes on, if Bolato doesn't get that first round KO, the Craig submission just increases in likelihood. So if you're thinking of it on a scale, you're going heavy Bolato through 1.5, and then you start getting heavier and heavier into the Paul Craig. Bolato, I think people forget, man, he looked so bad about Ihor Peteria. He looked so bad in that fight against Ihor. And he was just sloppily falling into him, getting wobbled himself. And if he fights like he did against Peteria, he's going to just straight up lose this. Probably get submitted. So that's why I like this one so much. And the odds currently are, let me look it up real quick. All right, guys, I got it. So it is plus 700 for the Paul Craig sub. So if we have those hit back-to-back weeks, plus 900, plus 700, man, you guys better be leaving some comments on these videos because we've been killing it lately. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. Leave us a comment below. Maybe some fights you want to see next week that we can break down. We do break down every single UFC card. We give you guys 5 fights every time. And also, if you haven't, make sure you guys do check out all of our other content, because we have Ethan doing weekly baseball. Sorry, not weekly. He's doing daily baseball episodes over there. And he has just had an extended winning streak over there. So if you do like making money and you're enjoying this show, making money off of this show, please make sure you check out Daily Dingers and the other content that we have on the channel. Guys, also make sure you check out bettergreen.com so you guys get access to my DFS articles that I write for the UFC. I have one every single week. I give you guys the best value, the person I'm putting in every one of my lineups, and the person I'm fading on my lineups. Once again, check out DraftKings, and we will see you guys in next week's episode. Peace, guys.